Hey friend, welcome back to another one song, 1 month challenge. Graham here from the recordingrevolution.com, and we are in mixing week of our song. We're trying to do a brand new song of writing, recording, mixing, and releasing a song in 30 days. So hopefully you've been following along and having fun. Today we're going to look at loading up the mix bus. This is one of the best things you could do to get a good sounding mix with fewer plugins, which means less CPU hog, which means you can work faster. A lot of great things happen when you start on the mix bus. I call this top-down mixing. I've called this the heavy mix bus theory. There's a couple ways to describe this very simple process of when you get a mix going, instead of jumping onto every single track and slapping plugins around, why not take some time to address the entire mix with only a handful of plugins by using the master fader or the mix bus. So that's what we're going to do today. What I want to show you that you can get a lot accomplished with only a handful of plugins, and you can get your mix that much better, faster. So here are all my tracks, no plugins inserted. I've got drums, bass, the purple stuff for my guitars, and the blue stuff for my vocals. So for the most part, I think I've got everything recorded, and I've got a rough balance of the vocals to the instruments, etc., etc. And what I'm going to be doing is inserting a few plugins on the mix bus and getting some work done. So take a listen to where we're at for 2 seconds.
You come in place, your heavy burdens on my back. You're tired and you're weary, I will give rest for your souls.
So let's get to work on this. What I want to do is I like to approach a mix as big picture stuff first. So if I listen to it and I'm stepping back now, I'm like, all right, what is it going to take to get to the next level? Instead of saying, oh, that kick drum, or oh, that lead vocal, or oh, that bass guitar line, I like to view the mix as a whole first. Think of it like a listener would. They don't listen to the kick drum. They don't listen to the shaker track. They listen to the whole song. So I almost approach the mix like I'm mastering it. So I'll grab an EQ and put on the master fader first. I'm going to grab the custom series EQ here, and what I'm trying to do is do slight subtle moves of EQ on the whole mix as if I'm mastering it. When I'm mastering material, I'm making moves that are like a 0.5 dB to 1.5 dB increments, very subtle stuff, because you're affecting the entire mix. You want to do little moves, and they do add up to a big result. So I'm going to do a couple of EQ moves here and see if we can't help it out.
You come in place, your heavy burdens on my back. You're tired and you're weary, I will give rest for your souls and carry you like sheep, and I will be your shepherd. God, I believe you satisfy your children. My hands are open, and God, I believe you promise a full provision. My hands are open.
All right, so I made 4 EQ moves. I cut 1.5 dB of 400. I boosted 1.5 dB of 4K. So the cutting the 400 is kind of cleaning up some of the mud, some of the mushiness in the mix. There's not too much, but there's some. The 4K on this EQ sounds really nice. It kind of makes the vocals a little more present, pushes them out a little bit further. I did a little bit of like a 1 dB boost at 60, which kind of fills out the bottom end of it. The kick drum gets a little bit more weight. It's got plenty of smack, but it kind of gives the bottom a little more weight. And then I opened up the top end a little bit at 12K with a 1 dB boost. So it was 1 cut, 3 boosts, and so I had to turn this thing down a little bit actually. So I think my level is pretty matched, but we can go back and forth now.
You come in place, your heavy burdens on my back. You're tired and you're weary,
All right, so the 60 sounds a little woofy to me, so I'm going to dial that back actually down to only 0.5 dB.
heavy burdens on my back.
So you can hear the mix already open up a bit with just that little EQ move. We're not trying to make the mix louder, we're just trying to sculpt it. Next I'm going to grab, I love saturation plugins. So start with an EQ. Then if you have any kind of saturation plugin, this one's free. It's called Revival, and it really just sort of adds harmonic content to the top and bottom end in a sweet way. So the shimmer knob is what I'm going to use. I'm just going to dial in a little bit of that to add in some harmonic exciting. It's like the Aural Exciter or the Sonic Maximizer or something like that. It just brings in a little bit on top of what's already there. So it's not boosting anything, it's adding basically distortion to the mix.
You work, come in place, your heavy burdens on my back. You're tired and you're weary.
Very nice. So let's make sure that the two of these aren't making the mix louder.
You work, come in place, your heavy burdens on my back. You're tired and you're
Way more open. It might be a tad loud, so I'll just grab a trimmer and dial down, 0.25 dB to make sure I'm not making the mix louder. But already those two plugins, the EQ and a little bit of harmonic exciting on the top end, are really opening up this mix nicely. Okay, so let's take it a step further. Another move I like to do is a little mix bus compression. So I'm going to grab Stevens FG Gray, which is an emulation of an SSL bus compressor. Waves has the master bus compressor. A lot of people have their emulation. It's a very good compressor for mixed bus stuff because it makes things really punchy. But you could do this with a stock compressor. I've taught a whole course on this using the stock compressor to do mixed bus compression. So it really doesn't matter. The key here with mixed bus compression always is slow attack, fast release, and a low ratio. So I'm going to do a 2-to-1 ratio. The attack here is 3 milliseconds is way too fast. So I'm going to slow that down to at least 10 milliseconds or slower, as fast of release as possible. And then the key here also is to look at, again, like 1 dB of gain reduction. So I'm going to dial the threshold up or down and watch the needle and make sure it's only doing 1 to 1.5 dB of gain reduction.
You work, come in place, your heavy burdens on my back. Tired and you're weary, I will give rest.
It's barely kissing it, right? This is not going to suck the life out of your mix, but this is adding a nice little bit of pumping to it. Let's take it away.
You work, come in place, your heavy burdens on my back. You're tired and you're weary, I will give rest for your souls and carry you like.
This one is subtle, but it usually brings the kick drum out for me, gives a little bit more bite. It is adding some harmonic content, so I'm going to dial the output down just a smidge, so we're not making the mix louder. Just pump a little bit. Okay, and then so let's see how we've done so far. We have an EQ, a little bit of harmonic exciting on the top end, and a little bit of compression. So let's bypass those three moves and see how far we've come.
You work, come in place, your heavy burdens on my back. You're tired and you're weary, I will give rest for your souls and carry you like sheep, and I will be your shepherd.
Right, it's already sounding more exciting, more open. Only one other move I want to add, if you want to take it a step further, is if you have any kind of tape emulation. This can do really wonderful things on music. So I'm going to grab the virtual tape machines from Slate, but any tape machine will do, because what it's doing is it's a combination of adding some harmonic content, which is usually nice, but tape naturally compresses audio in a really cool way. It absorbs transients like the top end stuff and stuff like on drums. It just sort of absorbs the nastiness in a way that I think really makes music musical, and it's one reason why we like older recordings. So I'm just going to leave this on the half-inch and the standard settings. The only thing is I know this plugin adds volume, so I'm going to dial the output down, half dB or so. See what this is doing.
You work, come in place, your heavy burdens on my back. You're tired and you're weary, give rest for your souls and carry you like sheep.
It does multiple things. It's thickening up my guitars on the left and the right, and it's bringing out like the tambourine, and it's bringing out the vocals. It's very cool what tape saturation can do to your mix, and it's amazing that we have plugins that can do this for us. So that is huge. So let's bypass everything we've done. In review, we have simply brought in an EQ, and again, if you are only using stock plugins, this is just a concept. Grab your stock EQ and think about what little moves, half dB to 1.5 dB chunks you can do to enhance the mix. Think of it like mastering. Oh, is there too much muddiness? Do you want to open up the top end, a little bit more weight in the kick drum? Is the vocal not poking out enough in that 3K to 6K range? So do slight EQ moves. The same thing, I'm adding some harmonic exciting on the top end. I'm doing a little bit of mix bus compression with, again, slow attack, fast release, and 1 dB of gain reduction on the kick and snare drum hits at the most. Very subtle stuff. And then I'm doing some tape saturation. So if you have those 4 plugins, do it. Otherwise, start with EQ and then compression. And if you can add in some saturation plugins later, do it. But do slight stuff, volume balance, and then let's see if we've taken this mix pretty far. I'll start with everything on and then take it away.
You who work, come in place your heavy burdens on my back. You're tired and you're weary, I will give rest for your souls and carry you like sheep, and I will be your shepherd.
And there you have it, loading up the mix bus. I already have a mix that is sounding more exciting, that's more open, and so then now when I approach the individual tracks or a group track, I'm just gonna do slight little help here and there. You know, the one guitar tone is clashing, or the bass needs a little bit more finger pluck on it, or the snare drum needs a little bit less ring or a little more fatness. Very, very simple stuff now because I've got a good sounding recording with some tasteful EQ, saturation, and compression moves on the mix bus, 4 plugins, and we've already taken the mix pretty far. So that's the concept. I just wanted to introduce that to you. If that's new to you, call it top-down mixing, loading up the mix bus, heavy mix bus theory. It's all the same thing. It's a great place to start, and I think it'll serve your mixes well. That's it for today. On the next video, I'm going to dive into a little bit more stuff on some stereo width and getting more separation in your mix. A really helpful trick for you using nothing but an EQ, so stay tuned for that. Let me know in the comments below this video how you are progressing with your song. Are you already in the mix phase? If you haven't already, how close are you to the mix phase? And also, what's one thing that you've been learning so far about yourself, about your music, about this song in particular maybe, while taking the One Song, 1 Month Challenge? Share below. I'd love to know what's something you've discovered along the way. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the videos if you like. Otherwise, I will see you on a video coming to you very soon. Take care.